Hello and thank you for joining Paper Crafting with Tracy. Today we're going to make this little gift card. It can hold gift cards, it can hold, I've got like a tea bag here that you could stick in there, whatever you want, a little something, little chocolates. You can see there's two little pouches there. And then when you open it up you can see it's just a whole separate pouch there and then your card on the inside. So I'm going to be using this designer series paper from the new Pansy collection that's in the new annual catalog. So you want to have a piece that is 8.5 by 11. And you want to be careful that it's not very directional, because as you can see on the front of these, there's a fold there, and if you do something that is too directional, they're going to end up going in opposite directions. So if it's striped lines, it'll work okay for you, but if you've got something that's all facing one direction, it's not going to. So decide which side you want as your focus. That's going to be on the front. I would like that one. So I'm going to lay it down. And what you want to do is you want to score at the 4 1/4 mark on the short side, and on the long side here you want to do at the 5 1/2, so that you're basically scoring right in the half of both sides. Then you want to cut right up to the score line here at the 5 1/2 inch mark. You're going to cut that so that it's splits this in half. Then in this top upper right rectangle there, you're going to mark at a 4 1/4 and a 4 1/4 and score along there as I've done, and I'll fold it there so you can see, like so. And in the bottom corner here, you're going to do it at 3 inch and 3 inches from the point. And I will fold that in there. So, and then what's going to happen is those are what are going to make your folds. So we'll end up folding it across this way. And we'll just make sure that that's all down. Then you're going to fold it this way, and that's what makes your pouches. Okay, so before I finish all of that, I'm actually going to finish taping these down. So we just need to put a little bit of tape just to hold the flap down. Oops. That tape is running out. There we go. And I just want to make sure that that's my score line is okay. So that when it goes over, it lays okay. Then I'll do the same in this corner. Put a little bit of tape just to hold it down. Now, when I bring this over, I want to create a pouch. Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to just put a tape. You don't have to worry about this side because that's going to be sealed in. So we'll just, I'll use my Stampin' Seal Plus just because it's a little bit stronger. And just put a little bit of tape on that side. And then bring it over. And just make sure everything's nice and crisp. Like I said, don't worry about sealing that bottom. It's just so you can create a pouch there. Because then we're going to fold it up. I'll just make sure I get that fold nice and crisp again. So I want to make sure I seal on the two sides now. So we'll put some glue there. It went over a tiny bit, so I'll just fold it over. And then some on that side. So that when I fold this over, I'll do it this way. Oh, and my paper went over ever so slightly, so my fold must have been off a tiny bit. But that is okay because we didn't seal that. It's just a single piece. So being careful not to cut the top one, I'll just trim that. And none of that is going to show. So that now, when I fold it over, it should lay flat, like so. And there's your pockets right there. So now I'm just going to decorate it, and you can see they're all sealed. And the bottom, because it was a fold, is all sealed. So the inside, okay, I'm just going to put piece of white, basic white cardstock on the end there. So we'll just okay. So the inside is all finished. And now I'll finish decorating the outside. So what I've done is I've taken my rectangle stitch dies and I've cut out a piece of basic white cardstock, and as well as this new in color, which is all on here. And the new in colors for this year, you can see here in the 2021 to 2023, I'm using the Evening Evergreen, but these are all the new in colors. Okay, so I can just attach those together. And then before I stick it on there, I'm going to put my stamp on there. So from the Pansy collection, the Pansy patch, I've just got this wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you. And I'll just do that in basic black. Just make sure. And I'm going to do it more in the bottom. Oops. Until my ink's off a little bit. I'm going to have to re-ink that. I'm actually going to off stamp it here because it didn't ink properly. There we go. Perfect. Now, when you go to attach this, I'll just move that out of the way. You want to make sure, what I do, because I want it kind of centered there, is I just kind of line up, okay, there is where the last pocket is going to be. So I want to make sure I don't tape past that. So I'll just flip it over, stick my fingers there, and then I'll tape on this side of it. Just like so. So that pocket still stays exposed. Now, I just want to add a little bit of decoration on these ones here. I put some flowers, but this one here, I didn't want it to be too flowery. So I'm actually going to use the Dragonfly Garden set, and I'm going to stamp myself a dragonfly. So we'll just move that out of the way. And I'm just going to do it in black. Nothing too fancy. Just ink this up. Oops. Sorry, pulling everything apart. And I'll just ink the dragonfly. There we go. And then I'll just use this punch to punch it out. That comes with it. Oh. And I'm off a tiny bit, so I'll just use my scissors to shorten that a tiny bit, because it won't fit in all the way. There we go. Now I'll be able to punch it out. And I'll use a couple dimensionals to attach that. There we go. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is, in the new catalog, is we have these loose flower flourishes, they're called. You can see here a bunch of different ones, and this is going to be my little pop of color. So I'm going to attach these. So I'm going to actually use my, sorry about that, about hitting the camera stand. I'm going to actually use my glue dots to attach these rather than actual glue. Okay, because with glue dots you can roll them a little bit just to get them to the size you want. And there's various sizes in here. So I'll stick that on there. And I'll put a couple on. If I can pick another one up. And these flowers are big enough that they'll take the whole glue dot. And I'll stick that one there. And there you have it. Another card that's suitable for a gift card or any other. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial with paper crafting with Tracey. Please subscribe to the channel as well as follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest with Paper Crafting with Tracey. Thanks for joining. Happy stamping.